Successful entrepreneurs understand something that most people never realize. See, growth really comes from doing more. It comes from doing fewer things with greater intention. See, they understand that busy and productive, they're not the same things. And here I'm going to show you how successful entrepreneurs manage their time differently to increase productivity, and why changing this one thing can completely change how your business feels and performs. And you're going to want to stay with me until the end, because I'm also going to share with you the shift that my clients make that helps them stop feeling overwhelmed and start creating more clarity, more confidence, and more consistent revenue for their business. Hi, my name is Yvonne Bramble. I'm a business and revenue advisor and founder of Apex Business Advisory, a business coaching and consulting company. And I help entrepreneurs lead their business with confidence, clarity, and consistent revenue by mastering their strategy, structure, and systems. Now, if you're a business owner or entrepreneur, I want you to hear this. You probably don't need more time. And I know a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs struggle with this in terms of time management. But I'm going to challenge a lot of your preconceptions and preconceived notions about time. And I'm going to challenge you with this. You don't need more time. In fact, time is not something you could even manage. So stop trying to manage your time. So the whole time management, it's an oxymoron. Throw it out the window. What you do need, okay, is you need a different relationship with the time you already have. Bear with me now. Because productivity, it's not about squeezing in more tasks into your day and seeing how much you can squeeze in. No, it's about really leveraging your day and being more effective and efficient with your day, okay? And it's about making your day create more results. And I'll really discuss more and more about this, and it's gonna make sense as we go through this concept. I wanna talk to you about how successful entrepreneurs manage priorities and they don't manage time. They don't even try to manage time. You can't manage time, okay? But what can you manage? What can you control? Right? That's what we'll talk about. See, one of the biggest misconceptions about productivity is believing that successful entrepreneurs simply manage their time better. That's not actually what happens. See, successful entrepreneurs, they manage priorities. They understand that not every task deserves equal attention. Some activities maintain the business, some activities grow the business, and many activities simply create the feeling of productivity, and they're time wasters, right? And they're not really moving the needle forward for your business. See, one client came into my strategic leadership and business growth program really frustrated because she felt exhausted every day. She was burnt out, overwhelmed. Her calendar was full. She spent hours updating documents, changing branding, organizing files, responding immediately to messages, and researching ideas. I mean, she was busy. But here's the thing, even though she was busy, all that busyness didn't translate to the bottom line. Her revenue remained inconsistent. Some months were great, some months not so good. It was like a cycle. It was like going through a roller coaster looking at her numbers. And she was fed up with it, okay? And she was ready for change. She was ready to step up and ask for help and seek help. And that's when she came into my program. When we stepped back and evaluated where her time was actually going, we discovered something pretty revealing, pretty important. And what that was that very little time was being invested in activities that created business growth. She came to me telling, I want my business to grow, but her calendar, her activities, her priorities were not aligned. There was a misalignment because they didn't reflect what she wanted for her business. Her activities were about maintaining the business, not scaling a business. See? There was limited visibility, there was inconsistent outreach, and almost no protected strategic thinking time. She was working in her business, not on her business. She wanted to, but she never took the time, okay? It was just an opportunity here to step back and think strategically about what's working, what's not working, and what needed to change. And I supported her through that. So what we did was we simplified, we reorganized priorities, and focused on activities that actually moved revenue. And for the other administrative tasks which were necessary, we found ways in how she can delegate that to her team and hire the right type of staff that can support her, okay? Within weeks, she told me, I finally feel like I'm leading my business instead of chasing after it. That's the shift. You see, productive entrepreneurs, they don't try to do everything. They decide what matters the most, and they're very, very good at saying no, okay? No to the things that are not aligned with their priorities and what their goals are, okay? So it's all about boundaries, okay? They set very good boundaries. They have clear priorities, okay? Do you see the difference? No one's trying to manage time. You can't manage time. But what you can control is what you do within that time. And that's the shift. That leads me to the next point that I want to talk to you about here, and that's productivity is actually decision making. So this next shift surprises people because productivity is not speed, it's decision quality. Think about how many decisions you make before noon, for instance. What should I work on? Should I answer this message? Should I take this call? Right? Decision fatigue quietly destroys productivity. But successful entrepreneurs, they reduce unnecessary decisions and they create structure, establish routines, schedule priorities, and remove friction. So that reduces the decision fatigue. Okay? So that they're able to focus their energy on what counts instead of spreading and scattering their energy on the little things. Okay? So because every day starts with figuring out what matters, what happens is you're going to waste energy before meaningful work even begins. I'll give you an example. One of my clients, she told me she was constantly feeling mentally exhausted before lunchtime, just feeling drained. Okay, that was the word she used. I feel so drained, right? Lack of energy. And really relying on coffee, relying on caffeine to just stay up and continue throughout the day. But it wasn't because she was doing too much. It was because she was constantly switching priorities, task switching, okay? And that manifests itself through, let's say you have a lot of tabs in your browser. That's a good example of all this task switching, right? So that goes to show that you're multitasking. You're doing all the things. You're on the phone. You're supporting a client. You're calling support for this other issue you're working on. We're working on several projects. You have all these applications on your computer up and available all at once. You've got 2 monitors going. That's what I'm talking about here. Just a lot going on. That creates task switching, and that's going to drain your energy. Okay? So once we introduced structure and protected time blocks of time for growth activities, her days started feeling lighter. She was able to show up with more ease, more grace, more flow. She flowed through her day and her business started feeling calmer. She said that she felt more clear, there was more clarity. And what happened? Well, what manifested was growth, right? Because growth comes from clarity. Okay, when you have clutter in your surroundings, that's going to create cluttered mind, and the cluttered mind leads to overwhelm, leads to burnout, leads to low energy, and all the things. So we want to simplify, okay? And that's going to help you to laser focus. And once you complete this one task, then let's close that and move on to the next, ensuring that the tasks we work on first thing are the priority, okay? And so that leads me to the next point I wanted to bring up in this conversation, which is successful entrepreneurs, they protect their best hours, okay? So this next one really changed everything for me. See, your best hours should not belong to everyone else. Most entrepreneurs give their highest energy to emails, notification, administrative work, meetings, requests from employees, requests from clients and customers. And then, after all that's said and done, then they try to grow their business later when their energy's already gone, okay? Well, not for successful entrepreneurs, because they actually do the reverse of that. They protect their best hours. That's where business growth happens. You're saving your energy for what matters the most because you've set priorities. See, your business deserves your best thinking, not your leftovers. So I want you to ask yourself this question. Now, if tomorrow you only had 3 hours available to grow your business, what would you protect? See, your answer tells you everything because the things you protect reveal what you truly prioritize. And that leads me to productivity. Really is about business design. Productivity is about business design. What do I mean? Well, most people think that productivity is about discipline, right? Oh, I'm going to be productive. Therefore, I need to be very disciplined. I need to use my willpower, okay? I need to use force. But productivity is actually business design. Entrepreneurs often say, well, when things slow down, then I'll be more strategic. But things rarely slow down. We both know that. Strategy is what creates the calm. Structure is what creates freedom. Systems is what creates momentum. And this is exactly why I created the Strategic Leadership and Business Growth Program. You see, entrepreneurs, they don't need more information. Actually, most already know what they should do anyway. What they do need is implementation, support during their implementation, and guidance as they go through so they know what tools they need at what time, what resources are necessary at what point. You see, guidance along the way. And inside the program, that's exactly what I focus on. I focus on helping entrepreneurs create stronger business foundations through strategy, marketing, sales, operations, leadership, and revenue growth, among other things. Okay? And so the goal is not to help you become busier, not at all. When people think of the word productivity, they're thinking, oh, all the busyness. Oh, I'll get more done. Hold on. Okay? The goal is not to get you busier. The goal is to get you to be effective. Okay? That's very different. Being effective, being efficient. Okay? Creating more growth, feeling more confident, and finally building that business that doesn't depend on the constant hustle and grind and definitely doesn't create burnout or overwhelm. It's created with ease, with grace, and with flow because you've created the containers to help you. You set the right foundation and the structure is in place and the systems and routines are there. You see, that's what you need. So that leads me to the real productivity question. See, here's the perspective shift. What if productivity is not about getting more done? What if productivity is becoming the type of entrepreneur who knows what not to do? See, now we're talking about an identity shift, isn't it? It's being a lot more it's elevating. It's an elevated thought process. Okay, it's not about the doing more, it's about being more intentional. It's about what you don't do. It's about prioritizing. You see, successful entrepreneurs, they're not successful because they work more. They're successful because they eliminate distraction and they protect their focus. They create structure and consistently move what matters. Imagine ending your day feeling clear, knowing exactly what created momentum, knowing your business actually moved forward, okay? And really what you did affected the bottom line and there's increase, okay? That feeling changes everything because clarity creates confidence and confidence creates action because it's a cycle. It builds on each other, okay? And it builds momentum. So I want to leave you with this one question. What are you spending time on right now that feels productive, but it's not actually growing your business? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're ready to stop operating in overwhelm and start leading your business with more clarity, confidence, structure, and consistent revenue, go ahead and click the link below and learn more about the Strategic Leadership and Business Growth Program. I'm really there to support you. It really is a combination of live group advisory support as well as access to my 2 signature programs, my Money Mastery program, which is a 12-module self-paced personal finance program for entrepreneurs and business owners, as well as the Business Mastery program. I call it my MBA fast track, my business school, if you will. It's also an online self-paced 12-module program. So you'll have access to both of these programs, both of these signature programs, as well as group live training and advisory on various topics. So we really cover everything in that program, really to support your success. This program was created for entrepreneurs who are ready to stop reacting and start building a business that feels calmer, more intentional, more profitable, and more sustainable. Now, in the next episode of this business productivity series, I'm going to show you the productivity systems that give you back 10 plus hours every week. So we're going to talk about systems now. Because successful entrepreneurs, they don't win by doing more, as we've talked about, right? They win by having the right systems in place. So I'm going to see you in the next video where we'll do a deep dive on that topic. Oceans of love and light in support of others. Until next time.